Oh yeah, black sun in the hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. To vax or not to vax? Waiting for my guest to show up. And put the link in the description. Let's see. Boom, boom. Let's see. Boom. Paste. Alrighty, alrighty. So, just waiting on the guest to get here. Yeah, so we're going to be discussing vaxing and just basically, I guess it's just going to be just a show of testimonies. Going to have, hey, what up, Zanzi? What up? What up? What up, Deacon? What up, Twin? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Just waiting for the guests. Waiting for the guests to get here. I don't know why if there's like a delay. Let's see. Phala, we are live. Boom. Nature Maid, we are live. I don't know. Oh yeah. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Oh, you guys are already subscribed. Hit the like button, share so we can get more subscribers. And we got Phala in the hizzle for shizzle. What's going on, Phala?
Good afternoon. I have no
Hey.
idea what the camera is not reading, so I'm using the regular camera.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea why.
Okay, well that's fine. We have plenty of time to test that out later. Because yeah, that the camera was looking fire, but it's still fire. So yeah, um, let's get to it. Deacon said mod him. How do I do that? Hold on, Deacon of Reality. Oh, and we got Nature Mom. Okay. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, so wanted to get some testimonies. These Phala and Nature Mom have both not down with the vaccine. Not down with the vaccine, and good reason too, because I know last week we talked about Johnson and Johnson as far as like the fibroids, the powder, the tum tum powder. Was that right, Phelan?
Yes.
The tum tum powder. Okay, so and we talked about how there was a big lawsuit. So, hey, let's. Where do we start, y'all? Where do we start?
What? I don't know. Yeah. You can begin, sis.
Phelan, your mic is low.
I don't know. I turned the volume
Okay,
off.
that's better.
You can go ahead and start. You can go ahead.
Nature Maid, you want to start?
Hi. So I just chimed in, and I only heard talcum powder.
Right.
So I'm guessing you guys are talking about Johnson and Johnson,
Right.
and this lawsuit against them.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about the connection between the fibroids and the talcum powder because I haven't had the time to research, but I do know quite a bit about endocrine blockers. And basically, like, this is the idea that there are a lot of products in our systems that block our signals that builds good DNA, good mRNA,
Right.
so that we have healthy cells. And unfortunately, it's not a big surprise to me that baby powder is the central um, object of scrutiny right now for Johnson and Johnson company.
Right.
Um, um, Fibroids, of course, for women is a huge issue. We have a lot of cystic fibroids growing pretty regularly. Doctors over the span of time don't seem to have a lot of answers as to what is causing them. But of course, when you look at our diets, the products that we're using, and you know something about these endocrine blockers and their toxic levels, it's no surprise to me that we're in the position that we are today with Johnson and Johnson, and probably as time moves forward, we're going to have many more of these products exposed as to being the source of our health issues.
Right. And the reason why uh Nature Mom is that we I wanted to bring that lawsuit because now we're moving forward to this topic, which is vaccines. Now, we just talked about the last show, Johnson and Johnson having a lawsuit, and now we're relying on them to give us vaccines. I mean, just Fela, what's your take on that?
Well, okay, so I want to start off with saying that I have three adult children, 21, 24. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
21, 24, and 26. And they're 21 and 24 about to both turn. And they, all three, I raised them with no vaccinations. From the time we left the hospital, I refused the vaccines. I refused any kind of IVs, any kind of anything in the hospital when having all three of my children. Okay, so I can say this that I was introduced to the idea from my oldest my oldest child, which is my son's grandmother, and she was adamant about when he was born not giving him vaccines, and so she was anti-vaccines, and she made me aware of at a very, very early stage. So I'm thankful for that, of course.
Okay.
Um, I will say that on my doing my own research over the years, um, I've heard a lot of things, and autism is the number one thing that I've heard about linked to vaccinations and
Right.
regulations. I, because of the field that I'm in, cannot say that that is a fact. I can only say that, in my opinion, I wouldn't say I only have an opinion, and it's not a medical one. But
Okay.
there have been many parents who are anti-vaccine, who are like anti-vaccine, who have been dealing with this COVID thing. I have
Right.
not
Right.
been a part of that. I mean, the most that I dealt with was my daughter, my youngest. That's what I was going to say about my youngest daughter. Her in 11th grade. That's when they in the LA Unified School District. That's when they put down all the mandates, and they had to be vaccinated and all this stuff, or they couldn't come to school. And they were trying to say they weren't taking any kind of exemptions. And you
Whoa,
know,
wait, what? They're saying they weren't taking exemptions.
they were saying they weren't taking exemptions. No
Oh, no, y'all
exemptions.
got to take y'all got to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I moved, and that was in LA Unified, and I moved to Orange County. Orange County is, I don't know if you know about Orange County, but they're
That's clan country right there, girl.
Republican. You know what you want to do.
God dang it.
Want to vaccinate, whatever. So there are a lot of anti this, anti that here anyway, because these people,
Okay.
practice their, but I encountered some mess with my daughter because coming in as a black woman. So again, I had to stop I'm an American, because you're not going to tell me that I have to vaccinate my daughter. And again, they were saying that if she didn't get a series, and this is 11th grade, okay?
Whoa, right. A year
Yeah,
away from graduating. Oh
yeah,
God.
and yeah, been to school in Georgia and here, and had, I've just, like I said, I've been where I've had to fill out exemption
Right.
on the actual what vaccination cards or whatever they have.
Right.
The flip side. Now they don't even necessarily have those available because again, they call themselves like cracking down on, because like I said, if you
Wow.
are certain religions, if you have, if you're not American, they can start pressing some issues. It's very political at this point. I pray, and I have no problem with getting in alignment with parents. So I'm not, I don't have children in high school, thank God, and I don't have any foster children right now. But that would be what I would be dealing with, and I would have to take my children to go get all of these COVID vaccinations and all that, which I didn't have to do that because they didn't. I don't have any children right now, and when I had it at the beginning of COVID, again, they weren't. You could actually, everybody had to keep their children at home, number one. And then you could say, for whatever reasons, and again, living in Orange County, we have a different code from where where you really can,
Orange County is Trump country.
you can do it. And again, it really is. It really
Right,
is.
right.
And again, you could say that however you say it. I say if it benefits me, cool. If it don't benefit me, whatever. Because I ain't voting one way or the other until it's time for me to try to run for something. If y'all want to get me off this, then I'll start voting. And I probably, like I said, I probably would register if I had to do Democrat or Republican. I probably would be a registered Republican. But I would probably register independent. But again, you're not gonna win nothing. You're not gonna get on. You're not gonna get into the board of education. You're not gonna get on the board of education. It really independent unless you have folks back you up. But anyway, we need anti-vaccine folk and people who have actually gone through the whole process of not going through these inoculations on the board of education, in Congress, in these small offices in your cities, in your states. We do need to get involved so that our voices are heard in those positions. Okay, and of course that starts with educating yourself and getting yourself aligned with these assignments. But some of these positions you don't even have to have anything but an associate's degree. I hope folks know that.
Right.
Some
Now,
high school diploma. Some you only have to be a celebrity. Anyway, go ahead.
okay. Well,
Vaccines. That's been my journey. I've been through quite a bit, making sure that myself, because I refused vaccinations at 16 years old, and from then, because I was being poked in every direction, because my grandmother was just like whatever, you know what I mean.
right.
Everything that they said, she's in line for it. I was about to say government cheese, but not government cheese, baby.
Not government cheese,
And
the white label.
you see how they like, oh, we're gonna give you $500. Like, oh, $500. Right. Okay. Ticket to the game. They were giving out tickets to the game. You can't go to the here. You can go, you still cannot go to certain concerts. So yeah, they playing games. Like, yeah, Mary J. Blige and this and that, all these people are gonna be but yeah, now you have to be vaccinated. Or the places where you don't have to be vaccinated, the tickets are like $1,500. So
Now, Nature Maid, Phala just mentioned that they're trying to take advantage of people coming from different countries. So Phala was like, "Look, I'm American. You ain't gonna play that with me." You've done travels. What type? Have you seen the pressures? Because
Oh
Phala
yeah.
mentioned that. Break it down. So you get back what Phala's saying.
Absolutely. I mean, I've now lived on 3 different continents. I travel with small children. We have moved around between the Middle East, U.S., and Europe, and this time of traveling post COVID-19 is the worst travel experiences of my life.
Mm,
We've gotten stuck in the Emirates in Dubai because of COVID regulations between countries, and unfortunately, like I was put in a position to protect my children from COVID, from vaccinations by
right.
taking them myself. And this was a choice during, like, as everyone calls it, unprecedented times. This was a choice to, reunite our family because we were living on 2 different continents and moving back and forth. Before
Mhm.
COVID-19, I established my career myself in a different foreign country than my husband was establishing his career and himself. And in the long run, now that we have COVID-19 up against us, I had to make a choice. I had to choose whether, and I could forecast that they were going to open up vaccinations for children, but I knew as long as I had it, that they wouldn't force my children to take it.
Mm.
So I took it. And
Now, but does that guarantee? I mean, that's a very
oh
interesting
no. I
way.
mean, come
Okay.
on. What
No, no. When
society
I'm
do we live
saying
in? Our global society. Only thing that guarantees anything are your connections, your lateral moves through power and
right.
money. And so no, there's no guarantee. My vaccination, as of
Well, when I
you
say
know,
guarantee, meaning they won't mess with your kids. Like if you take it, then that's what I'm
this,
asking.
this is where we were for 9 months. When I took it, we were told a year, and now they have lessened the time period to 9 months. And now I am up against another visa challenge, and I'm just at the point where I refuse to take any more.
Right.
The first dosage um, put me in a very, very broken state. I was very sick.
Oh,
I had to go to a neurological hospital emergency room in a foreign country where
right.
language was a challenge, and basically the top neurological specialist was able to communicate to me that vaccinations were not for me. And
Wow.
What was your reaction to the
yeah,
vaccine?
I mean, we were worried about it being in the country where I was, thrombosa. So thrombosa is basically where the vaccine, as a side effect, creates a blood clot in your brain, and it could kill you instantly. And
Jeez.
And you have to take
so yeah,
this risk in
say it
this,
again. Sorry.
and they tell you this risk in advance, and you have to take
Oh,
that risk.
no, no, no. No, I don't know if you guys are aware, but the actual designer of the vaccine himself, who has separated himself from the entire organization as of the last year, um, put out a warning that has been removed from the internet. I still have a copy of it.
Wow.
And his warning is that he goes through all of the side effects. He goes through all of the protocol for it. And one of the most important things that he said is that when you take these vaccines, they are already putting you in a position where you're volunteering for it, whether you're pressured into that volunteering or not. And so, as all these cases are starting to come out, a lot of older men are dying from heart attacks right now, unexplained heart attacks. Children are projected to be dying from heart attacks, unexplainable heart attacks. But it
So
just so happened, they're trying to blame it on climate change, which we've been going through climate change for quite a bit of time now. Um, but all of a sudden, since vaccines have become such precedented entities in our lives, now all of a sudden our men and our children are at the highest risk of instant heart attacks. So, with that being said, uh, I am in a position where right now I'm doing everything I can to prevent my children from having to take it, but I'm really trying everything I can to prevent myself from having to take a next dosage as well. I will not take dosage number two. I did take the Johnson and Johnson because I needed the fastest dose possible for travel purposes. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I chose Johnson and Johnson for a small list of reasons, and one of them being that it was not DNA altering as Pfizer. And
Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Uh-oh. Yeah, your mic is muted. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it on my end. Unmute mic. Dang it. Unmute your guest. Mic isn't connected. Your mic's not connected. It's saying your mic is not connected. Your mic is not connected. Oh, shoot. Oh, you got a Bluetooth. It's probably not paired. It's probably not paired. Uh oh. Yeah, it's showing unmute. Can't. Their mic isn't connected. Yeah, it's saying your mic's not connected. Dang it. Ah. Okay, now I can. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for controlling my mic, guys.
That's why you got to do hardwire. When you have these type of topics, you got to hardwire because they're
Right, right.
cable.
I bet you.
They
Shut
can
her off
interfere.
now. Click.
Yeah.
She's out, right.
She about to
So,
goddamn bankrupt our company. Click.
well,
We
the most
ain't have.
interesting thing about this whole thing is at the same time that Pfizer was forced through legislation to release their 30-page long side effects document.
Right.
I had just finished a course where we learned how to read signaling and endocrine signals, and basically they released this list in biological language. This is not language that the everyday person can just sit down and read this document and go, "Oh, okay, I understand completely what this means."
Right.
9 pages of side effects. 9 pages. I only made it through the first 10 uh, pathways,
Right.
and sorry, and just through the first 6 pathways that I read, we're looking at lifelong diseases like Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease. Sorry, I can't even speak. Sorry, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning here.
Right.
But
Right.
Parkinson's, many family oriented diseases like this. So basically, where your DNA gets stuck in a loop and
Whoa. What?
it starts to expand. And each time your DNA is trying to repeat itself, your mRNA, it expands longer and longer. And what that causes is all of these conditions where your body loses muscular control.
Right.
You lose control of your ability to swallow. You lose your control of your ability to breathe. You lose your control of many muscular functions. And as this trait is passed on from generation to generation, it starts to hit more family members and it starts to loop even longer. So it means that where it would hit you maybe in your 80s, it's going to hit your children in their 50s to 60s. It's going to hit their children in their 40s, 30s.
Oh.
And the earliest case that I read about, the little girl died when she was 4 years old.
Dang.
So
Dang.
these are the type of diseases that were handed to us through these vaccinations, and they're not going to uncover that because they put it in biological signaling. Another thing that we have to really think about is not only is it obvious the heart disease, because that's a huge topic. It's everywhere and it's pretty obvious.
Right. Your mic again. Yeah, they got your mic. If you could hardwire your mic, Nature Mom, because they're gonna. Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. There you
Moment.
go.
One moment. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Reinstated. Yeah, I know. I'm giving up all the information. But so the issue with this condition is that with this nerve and muscle damaging condition is that it is passed on, and YouTube ain't playing. Yes, speaking of reality, it's true. They're like, be quiet. But we're just spreading, like, we're talking about like signaling. We know that signaling is a part of biology, right? So nothing that can be said because they released this list in signaling. So um one of the other things that we're really looking at is that these signalings that the Pfizer vaccination has shown. And once again, I didn't get through the
Hmm.
9 pages yet because I just don't have time to sit and trace every single pathway. I've only gone through six of the 10 that I looked at. And just out of the six of the 10 that I researched, not only do we have that disorder that we're looking at, but we also have alcoholism, we have, heart disease, we have so many addictive diseases attached to it.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that, molecular biology, they're connecting a lot of our disease, our addictions, also to the ways that our can't stop. All right. They're connecting our addictions to the way that our pathways are connecting.
Mm.
So when I say pathways, the best way that I can explain it to you guys, like put it in the simplest language, is that every single thing that you're wearing, every food that you put in your body, everything that your skin, your largest organ,
Right.
is absorbing, the air that you're taking in, the water that you're showering and drinking, it all creates these pathways through your body and these signals work in many, like, four major ways, but these vaccinations seem to have a very specific connection in these pathways that you can trace.
Okay. Uh, Fayla, real quick. Um, your kids are grown now, and you've managed to like maneuver. Did you notice since your kids from birth till they're grown, things getting more harder and more narrow as far as dodging these vaccines? Did you?
Mhm.
Um, I just the conversation came up much later in me raising them. So by the time it became a national thing, as far as them talking about vaccines, all of vaccines linked to certain autism and mental health and just different health issues in children. That like I said, that's more in the last 10, 15 years. So when I had to put my foot down again, I was kind of under an umbrella of those who had already, kind of been in the in the fight. So you start like some people again are just saying no to vaccines right now, but they have every other vaccine. And
Yeah.
for me, I would say no right now if I had every other vaccine as well, because again, those other
Right.
vaccines at least have years of research. These vaccines that they're coming up with right now are Johnny come lately. Uh, Again, really practicing medicine here, and
Right.
you can be a lab rat, but that's when they tell you immediately that they're not going to be responsible for anything that happens to you. That right there is a red flag. And then they start taking away your right to travel and move around and work and okay, like now I have to take the test, the COVID test. But again, they kept on they offered me $2,000 to go take the shot.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh no,
Wow.
I'll take, you know, yeah, sign on bonus. You see, one
And
thousand
Fela
something
yelled,
to take the
Tuskegee
shot,
women.
and again, that's I'm not sure that, especially going on to the in the field working with these children, and that's what I wanted to say. They keep on saying the what happens when they talk about the side effects of COVID, and the side effects of COVID and the side effects of the vaccines are similar, except for like you said, the blood clots. Those are like immediate. You know, just I don't know. I don't understand how you can be pressured into taking something that's so new and all of your rights being taken away. And again, this is in America. I don't know about other countries. I can imagine the pressure. When I was dealing with, the again, I was under an umbrella of people who had already been there, done that. Okay, so I can let them slip through the cracks because we don't want the fight with them. Okay, but again, I'm talking about now. When we're talking about now, and this COVID and these new, because they now, let's talk about the monkeypox. Okay,
Right.
there's and now I mean, and that's my thing because again, I've been every single the flu. They were trying to pressure folks into taking that flu vaccine. Working
Mm.
with children again, being a foster parent. Anytime you get fingerprinted, doing security, they want to know that if you're vaccinated and if you're not, you need to show them some religious reason. I mean, again, the political religious is the one reason that you can actually say it's against my religious beliefs, it's against my faith. Um, so again, I stress to you all, y'all better get some religion. You better get some religion. In America, you better get you some religion. You better get you some God in your life. So my God don't. And again, you can find
But are they trying to even with? Because I mean, I don't even know they're trying to even pressure churches now. They're trying to go
Wow.
straight to the
well, and the
church.
thing is, you
Unfortunately.
have to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you say that you have a background in Jehovah's Witnesses, because I was with Jehovah's Witnesses and 7 Day Adventists, and you've been a vegetarian or vegan, and now you're pescatarian, you're on a strict diet, you raised your children. Again, you have to have a real argument. And when you say your religion, you have to tell them it's not just a religion, it's a culture, it's my way of life. I say I practice Christianity, a version of my Christianity, emancipated, you know what I'm saying, and African or holistic original, I should say. When I say African, I mean Kemetic original Kushite um, spirituality, meaning going back to the earth. Like you got nature mind here. So going back to the earth, when I say black to Eden, that's what we're talking about.
Right. So
And
you already
religion. My religion is my creator. My creator made everything on the earth so that I can heal my body. My food is my medicine. My herbs are my medicine. What we can get from the earth, that is for the healing of my body. And again, you better be able to come with this. And you better be able to stand firm on your square because if you cannot, you will be forced into it. Again, I'm not saying anything about anybody in another country because I don't know how that works. But here in America, as an American citizen, you better know how to tell them who you are and you better know that you better be able to do it, and you better be able to stand. Because if you don't, again, like I literally, when I keep saying 11th grade because I was in an office, I had to dismiss my daughter from the office, like, and talk to because it was the lady in the front trying to give me a paper and looking at this receptionist, like, yo, I don't know who you are, what the spill is that you give to all these other folks over here in Irvine, but I'll tell you right now, go get somebody who has a little bit of authority so we can get this paperwork together so my daughter can start school. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, when it started getting elevated, I'm like, okay, we need to get into a room with my daughter. And I said, look here, I went all the way, and I promise you I will never make this up. I told them in the assistant principal, and this receptionist had to come in there because, it was heated that I went all the way back on some history after I said my religious reasons and my political reasons, and I said it. I talked about the Native Americans, the smallpox. I talked about. I went all the way back on. Yes, I did to get there. I said we know about the Tuskegee experiment. I know I did. And when I was there, that's why I made my daughter go out of the room because I wanted to make sure that they didn't like they weren't thinking I was trying to put this in. No, it's not jargon, it's real talk. You know what I mean? And again, you need to be able to do that. Anybody out there who is, you're in America, you're an American citizen, even if you're not, if you are even, you need to stand on your square. You need to let these people know that it is your religious right, not your political, not your personal. It is your religious foundation that the herbs are for the healing of the nation. And you will not put poison, man-made, practicing medicine. You don't practice medicine. You don't practice medicine. You don't practice medicine. We're not practicing over here. We're not lab rats. Okay? You tell them, I am not a lab rat. And I have the right to say that I am not going to practice medicine with you because I serve a mighty, mighty God. Okay?
well, especially when when
Yourself, but whatever, you better tell them you serve a mighty, mighty God. That's it. And I'm telling you, that is it. That is it. There's nothing else to stand on here in America.
now this is for
You
both of y'all.
living it. You can't have vaccinated your children last year.
Well, and this is the both of y'all because um, Nature Mom said, and I think both of y'all said that they warn you ahead of time that there is a risk, or they do or don't.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
all
I
in the
think
report.
I think that it's like open information, open source. The doctors aren't telling you is they're jabbing you, right? They're letting you know that many people have done it. This is very this
Oh,
is
it's the cool thing
okay.
to do. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
It's the
trend.
right thing to do.
Hashtag it, please. I think that the overall issue though is that, let's say for example, if we exercise our human right to ask our medical advisor, our medical physician, to be responsible for the medication that they're administering. If we go with a document and the document says you are fully taking responsibility for administering this medication to me, all of them are going to refuse
Right,
to actually administer it. They will not sign the form. I've tried it.
right.
wow, y'all
Yeah, they
hear
won't
that?
sign the form.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But they want you to sign the form before you
but
get
they but
jabbed.
you must sign the
Yeah, you
form
have to
if
sign
you
the form
want.
before you get jabbed. You have to sign it off.
And
I
let's
want
be
the jab.
clear.
Okay, when you get
I
jabbed,
was looking
before.
at I was looking
Yeah,
at the
you under contract.
statistics
It's like
earlier
investment
on.
at your own risk. It's the same thing, and that's how they're actually selling it and pitching it. Like it is your civil duty to your country, to your people, to put your life at risk, and let's see if we can get this. You know what I mean? But again, it's like so next year it's going to be COVID. What 25? What are we doing? What are we talking
I mean,
about here?
I
Like
think that
Right,
the scariest
just like
situation that I've encountered
again,
so far is, I recently, a couple of months back, lost a childhood friend. She was vaccinated, fully vaccinated. What's interesting is that she contracted COVID-19 um, just after being told by her firm that she had to lay off everyone who was not vaccinated. And it caused her so much stress, I believe. Um, she just didn't make it, and it was her position to lay off these people. What's interesting about this story is that this is not a centralized story. It didn't just happen in her law firm in the USA. This is happening globally. People are losing their livelihoods. They are losing their ability to provide for their families, and
right.
if they don't take these vaccinations. There's a very big company where I am now. I can't name them because then somebody might come to the door and not just turn off my earphones. But because I don't live in a democratic country right now. But if these people don't follow protocol and just go to the appointments that are set up for them, they there's no question they're out of their position pretty fast. And their position
Wow.
also supports their housing, it supports their transportation, their food, it supports a lot of stuff. So most of these people are sending money back home to their families
Right.
or country, and so they lose a lot. So doing qualitative interviews with people, they're just telling me straight up that they're so afraid to be impoverished by this. They When this appointment is set, they just go. So no, I don't feel like there's a lot of people who really are being able to value, to wage the risk that they're walking into,
Right.
especially the long term. Let's just be clear: this Pfizer report was just released, so and the information that I got just before this release was they weren't going to have to release this information for 75 years, according to them,
What?
for 75
Say that
years.
again.
Yeah. So just imagine if you, fortunately, the Supreme Court overturned it and they had to release it now. So how interesting is that, that these huge, farms are getting these patents to be able to hide information for that long? I mean, wasn't it even like a couple of celebrities like Marilyn Monroe and Jackie O and Mrs. Martin Luther King, who also had to sign 50-year contracts to not disclose any information, you know. So I
Wow.
think that, yeah, when we're dealing with situations like that, where there is no transparency, no wonder we're skeptical. No wonder, we're being forced into something, but you're not giving us any information, and you're telling us this is a democratic country. And yes, maybe if I travel within the country, I'm not forced to vaccinate, but if I want to stay in my job, then I am. If I want to
Right.
go to a movie theater, then I am.
Yeah.
So it's a very you know I guess, for the lack of a better word, it's a very like dominating position, for these guys, these pharmas to take, you
Very
know,
totalitarian.
It's
very, in
it's
order
criminal.
to let us know
It's criminal.
that
Right.
And at the
it's
end of the
either
day, I'm sure there'll be
do
lawsuits.
or die, literally,
Wow.
or a struggle.
Yeah.
And most people are creatures of habit. They're not, let's say, disciplined enough to be able to go through a major change, like, housing, financial, and your work situation all in one hit. So I think that the psychology behind that is really interesting as well, because you're putting a lot of pressure on people to make a quick decision with their lives in order to keep their lives going.
Which is by design. Um,
Oh, certainly.
Fela, because you've been fighting this thing for a long time, way before COVID. How did you run into the support groups or introduced, or can you kind of walk us through that?
So it's a support group.
Well, you said you've already known about it, or just a family thing, or you had like groups of people like, you know what, we not down with this.
No, I'm not a part of any support groups. I just basically it's only there's only certain times when it comes up. So it's not like this has been the most that vaccines have ever come up. But with my children, it would just come up around the cycle of when the vaccine was supposed to happen. So then
Okay.
I need to bring it to school for them to start school. So I mean, I would just, like I said, initially you would have the vaccine card and you would be able to turn it over, and the exemption is on the back, and you have a doctor's note. Well, I would have to go to get a doctor's note. Like now, I have a doctor's note right now, and I don't have an exemption. I don't have a vaccine card. And with my children, since we've been back to California, they've never given me any kind of. They never. I mean,
So
all three of them were actually still, yeah, so I'm from back there in Georgia.
okay, your mic is a little low, Vela.
I was just saying, both of my daughters graduated here, and they both never had any exemption. I just had to get a doctor's note saying that it was the fact our religious belief that we don't do vaccines.
How did you learn about the exemption notes? Because I know this is just not general information.
Okay,
Actually,
so
it is.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh
okay. I
yeah.
stand corrected. Okay.
like I said,
I
on
mean,
the
the American government, everything, there's actually a website that has every single regulation, law, and form, but what they don't have to do is tell you that the website is there.
exactly, and they removed it from the vaccine
Oh,
thing because it
oh,
was on the vaccine part
mm,
where you could just flip it over, and instead of getting all the vaccines signed off, and on the back it says exempt, and then you have a doctor's note on file. So they've always had a doctor's note on file. I have a doctor's note. I have to get one on file for work right now. I have to bring in, my doctor's note saying that I will not do any vaccinations, not just because again, we got this monkeypox shot that they want everybody to get now.
That's right.
And they've been pushing the shingles, which, and again, how you said, Bruce Dixon, right?
Bruce Dixon.
Bruce Dixon from the the Black Agenda Report.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. I knew the name sound familiar. Yes,
So
yes.
he passed, and he got yes, he passed.
Oh,
Not a couple of years, within a couple of years of getting the shingles, and he said that he got sick from getting the shingles vaccine. Remember, I mean, they
dang.
were pushing that commercial, remember? Over and over again. If you're over a certain age, go get the shingles vaccine. Go get the shingles vaccine. When we got the vaccine, and he said that his health deteriorated. And this is what he said to me.
Huh.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm not, I didn't say, he said, yeah, he said that his health deteriorated. He just, have been feeling well over that span of time. That's it.
Hmm.
Within a couple
So
of years.
so then that begs the question, when they were giving all these mortality rates from COVID, how many of them actually died from the vaccine?
Right, right.
Hmm.
And what is the difference when you get the vaccine and then when you don't? Other than there's a risk of you getting, because you're getting not, there's no risk of you getting it if that's what you're doing. You're having your body fight off this germ. So again, you're getting it, hoping that you have enough immunity at this point. Makes more sense to build your immunity. Makes more sense to come up with a cure. Makes more sense to not make inoculations and vaccinations a priority versus a cure. Versus a cure.
So
And
Phala,
they have a cure. They keep on saying there's some oral medications. So why are you still pushing vaccines when there's an oral medication and the oral medication has to have some kind of remedy to it. Not it's the cost of it, right? It's, I mean, again, why are we not coming up with a cure? Why is that not a priority? Why is it always, even like with everything, monkeypox has been around for how long?
right, right.
So what is the vaccine and what is the promise of a vaccine? That's what I would want to know. What is the promise of a vaccine that has
Hmm.
nothing but side effects, and you're going to get the disease and hope that you can fight it.
Wow. Now I know you living in Orange County, Phala. I know those Republicans, most of them are down with just herd immunity. If you get it,
Right.
herd immunity, they believe that that's the best way. What's your take on that?
Well, and again, I'm a prime example of herd immunity. That's why I go into the field like I go into the field. I go in masked up, and again, I'm 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 washing my hands when I'm coming home. I'm thinking about all the hands I touched. I'm washing my hands a couple times in the classroom. I'm in the classroom with a mask on. They're like, "Oh, okay, I don't give a damn what y'all not doing because y'all probably all got shot." And again, I feel like everyone who has the vaccination has the disease. They are running around, not like running around, but how they say, not long COVID, but that is the point of the vaccine, right? And I'm saying this new vaccine. I'm not saying the standard vaccines, the traditional vaccine, but this COVID vaccine, it seems like because soon as it's supposed to wear off, then you're supposed to get it again. So you keep on. I don't. I'm not. I'm trying to understand the science
Hmm.
in it. That would be number one. What is the science in it, and where do we fit in the practice?
Hmm.
Hmm.
What's your take on herd immunity, Nature Made? What?
I mean, we know that when our body is a interesting machine of immunity fighting and building. That's our body's natural function. It is one of the most powerful immunity fighters over
Right.
any drug, anything you can take. And when you study biology, that's one of the first things they show you is how amazing, when a cell is sick, we get these signals, and then these proteins and these different enzymes come in, and it takes this cell apart and it recycles the cell,
Right.
and then it takes what it can reuse and it reuses it to build good cells, and then it disposes of what's not functional. When we have all of these medications that have a myriad of side effects that suppresses our systems, this medication suppresses here and another medication suppresses there, so you have to take two, now three, because you're having another issue here and there. Sorry to be so vague, but I'm just trying to narrow it all down in the quickest explanation possible. then you suppress your body's ability to fight very basic um, viruses and
Right.
bacteria around
Right.
us. So, the whole idea is that,
So what you're saying is that the vaccine actually uh, interferes with the natural defenses of the body. Is that what I'm getting?
I'm saying that the majority of medications are
Hmm.
interfering with our body's natural ability to build its own immunity system.
Got you.
The thing that I can say about the vaccines, and particularly, as I said earlier, I only read the pathways of one and only the first six of a 9-page list of side effects. So, I mean, it would take me more than a month to sit there and trace every single pathway by myself.
Right.
So just understand that, like, not only are these vaccines possibly suppressing our body's natural ability to fight for itself, but it's also creating diseases that are not in our genome. It's
Wow.
creating situations that are not in our DNA system,
Right.
our DNA scripting, um, and they're activating new genome that we're going to pass on to our next generation that
Wow.
many situations can activate for them in the
And
future.
not necessarily the next generation, but the person that's in the same room as you. You know what I mean? You know,
Whoa.
Yeah.
when you that's what I'm talking. That's what I was trying to say with herd immunity.
Okay.
If you are not vaccinated, whether you are or not, being in the same room, whether you mask up as much as you can clean or not, you're still going to be in contact with a lot of people who've had these vaccines who you don't know what their chemistry is going to do. When they sneeze, what that germ is. And again, it might, again, whatever. I'm not saying it like, oh, we all have germs. We all have, it may not be COVID, whatever it is. And we're going to, as long as we have, sense enough to not go out, like how they had us all, for COVID alone, right? But we have to go out and we have to, commune with one another and be around one another to create a strong immune system. And you have to do it if you are vaccinated. I would say even more so. And you should also, like, my thing is, not being vaccinated, they expect me to have my mask on. I feel like we should all have masks on because there's
Right.
no, the mask is not 100% proof anyway. And then when we're out and about, but if we're in a closed room, in a classroom, or working, and I'm saying this because I know what where I am. Okay, when I go to the grocery store, if I'm going to be in there quick, I may not throw my mask on, but then I have one in my purse because if I see somebody sneeze or get, I'm putting the mask on again because I don't want, we're going to, when we walk into the grocery store, we're going to be touching germs.
Wait, what does the guy do?
So,
I think that was a very important point made right there because what they're selling, and let's be honest, these huge shipments of masks from China, what they
Oh.
actually are, these are dust masks. Dust masks are not designed to keep any germs from going out or coming in. Only thing that it's good for is minimizing the amount of dust that enters your sorry, your respiratory system. Sorry, it's like late here, so I'm fighting words,
That's
four
fine.
words. But it helps. It's just a support for your respiratory system to not take in larger particles. So let's say, for example, when I had more time and I wasn't, sitting there studying all this stuff, I was able to be a potter. And as a potter, you have all of these dust particles flying in the air. And these dust particles create what they call potter's lungs. So, this clay going into your nasal, system and landing on your lungs actually creates a lessen lifespan because you are putting all these particles on top of your respiratory system. So that's what a dust mask is supposed to do. Like in regions where I am now, where you have dust storms regularly,
Right.
we just can't fight the dust. It's just the sand particles are everywhere, and constantly breathing that actually attacks our respiratory system. That's what these masks are. And the most interesting fact about these masks is that they are made of these very fine fibers. And when you're breathing them too much, you're taking these fibers in and you're also putting them on your lungs. So the only masks that actually work for what they are proposing it are these, these more industrial type masks. They filter every single fine particle exactly. There's strong filtration systems. I mean, there's many styles of them. These are the only things when another person sneezes that will actually block you
Right.
from being able to take in their pathogens. So when you're wearing these cute little Chinese masks and these homemade masks and all these, they're cute, they're adorable, right? But what's happening when you sneeze is that they're flying out of the open spaces. When someone else's sneeze, these very fine, molecules are going into the open spaces. It's not protecting you uh, on the degree that they're trying to make it appear. So, I'm saying if it's really about our health, yeah, you're making us go ahead and test into every airport, test out of every airport, test into work, test out of work. We're spending a lot of money. I mean, I
Right.
can't even. I'm afraid to calculate all of the money that I've spent just on PCR tests and antigen tests in this year alone. So if you're really trying to protect, people's contraction of this contagion, then you're going to have much more powerful masks available and have much more powerful masks that people are purchasing, not a dust mask. So I think that this is a really interesting topic when I keep looking at this because I'm going, wow, you're forcing me to wear this, whether I'm working out, walking in open air, you know, um, but this is actually suppressing my respiratory system, putting fibrous particles inside of my body that my body's going to have to also fight and deal with. And it's not doing what you are saying that it's supposed to do.
Interesting. Okay. Ladies, we have, I mean, the wealth of information. I hope the audience is taking notes. Both Phala and Nature, y'all, I mean, y'all, whoo, man, y'all on fire. I mean, really, y'all really brought it because I mean, a lot of people are really confused. And like I said, Phala mentioned the monkey. What was it, Phala? The monkey pox or what?
Monkeypox, yeah, we're not seeing that here yet, but we're hearing
Yes,
about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they're already talking about the vaccine.
yes, okay,
already.
yeah.
Yes.
Vaccine is a good business right now.
Big business. Big business.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Farmers are doing great, I mean,
And you just
so
basically go get a monkeypox vaccine.
yeah. So I think that the most important takeaway with all this is, um, you know, uh, read, research, keep cross-referencing information, see who's funding it, and really like try to understand because it's not so easy to understand some of the situation where they're presenting it and they're presenting it this way on purpose.
Mm,
So spending your time, to like read through some of this data just to kind of understand how it's impacting you and
right.
your family can really help to make much more informed decisions, and not just taking someone else's word for it because these days not a great idea to take advice from a stranger.
Right.
So and even from a loved one with good intentions, it's much better to inform yourselves and do your due diligence.
Okay. Okay. Um, Phala, okay, we about to close out. Phala, how long has this monkey pox been around? Because I think I've heard of it before.
And for years, and I mean, of course, they said it started in Africa, and I don't know, it just just in the states, the last couple of months. So it's been a
Interesting.
couple of months that they've been mentioning. At first they said it was only one person here, and now they have it up and a few more cases, and now we're talking about the vaccine. So in the last
Mm,
couple of months, it's from one case to a few cases to
Wow.
right. They just wow. So it's been around, and all of a sudden, no, we need the vaccine for the monkeypox.
yeah,
Right.
for the 15 people that have it here.
Oh, it's 15 that got it there.
I'm just saying. You
Oh,
see, yeah, well,
Right.
they said from one. I don't know how many exactly, but it was one person a couple of months ago, so I don't know how many exactly now. And
so that means, Fela, if you have a case there, that means if they told you one, then it's probably more.
I mean, I'm not saying in California. I'm saying in the U.S.
Oh, and you, oh, well,
Yeah, I think it was
Mm,
I can't remember. But yes,
jeez.
yeah.
interesting.
Monkeypox.
Monkeypox. Wow.
All I can say is everybody really just stay diligent with their health and their wellness and make sure that you're eating and treating yourself correctly. You have some kind of herb and you know regimen. If you have a herbalist or a primary care physician, make sure that you have a primary care physician that you trust, so that if you get into any of these situations, they understand where you're coming from and what you're talking about. And you need to be talking and be verbal now. So you need to be proactive. That's what I can say. The best thing to do at this time and at all times, but no better time than now, if you are not on that journey, to start being really diligent about your health and your wellness, and being on a path of self healing, and being your own doctor. And again, you get
Absolutely.
people that support you, and you be verbal about who you are to yourself. You know your body best. You know what you trust. And you, like you said, what you just said, do your research, and you know what research you've done. And again, you get sound counsel. Make sure you have sound counsel around you and people that you trust with questions. Don't ask anybody. Just, oh, I'm a doctor. No, make sure it's someone that you trust, and you can
Right.
research with physicians that you allow, um, whether it's a mental health therapist or a primary care physician. Do the research on these people that you're entrusting to support you on your own
Exercise.
personal journey, on self care, and self love, and self.
Right. Nature May, you want to have any closing statements?
No, I love the Twin Pyramids comments to exercise. One of my favorite activities. I love to walk.
Hmm.
um, but absolutely, I want to completely, support everything that was just said as well. I think that, it's our health. We know that our systems of government have their agenda. We
Right.
have to have our own
Obviously.
agenda. We have to be very careful about what we are exposing ourselves to, and on every level. I mean, just what I've learned about everything that we touch, everything that we're exposed to, even the fabrics that we wear, really have an impact on our internal um, uh, DNA system. It
Right.
actually impacts our endocrine system. And our endocrine system is connected to our thyroids, is connected to, so many different parts of our body. If we are not careful and being selective, and like Deacon is saying, staying fit,
Hmm.
mentally fit, physically fit, and I think that we really have to start thinking about an economic fitness as well,
Okay.
supporting institutions and economies that we believe in. Maybe finding ways where we can build trusted sources, and making source connections within our communities, because our communities are who we do trust. It is who we are speaking to regularly. These are the people who, for example, when Phala doesn't want to immunize her children. I too, I have not immunized my kids from birth. We've had to import several countries of this every time we turn around.
Your mic.
Wow.
They messed with your mic again, Nisa. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go.
Okay,
Nisha.
let's see. We'll give him a moment to click back in.
There you go. Yeah, you get it.
Um,
So you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this brief. Everywhere I go, I have support. My support system is who helps me through. So we really got to find ways to support each other so that we know where our trusted sources are.
Okay.
It's going to be very important moving forward.
Okay. All right. Well, Nature Maid, Phala, I want to thank y'all. Y'all really brought a lot of information that people, because like I said, you got these monkeypox coming. It's just, oh my gosh. But I mean, I think a lot of people learned a lot tonight, especially. I don't think a lot of people even knew about the risk. So I want to thank y'all. I want to really thank y'all. And
Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
having me. It was
yeah,
a pleasure to be here and have this discussion.
right. And I know both of y'all ladies do. I don't know what y'all schedules like, but we do a Fitness Fridays where we just talk about regimen, calorie counting. So y'all, I definitely want to have y'all back on. Phala, we're gonna do another topic on Thursday. You want to let us know what the topic is, or
I'll figure out what you.
huh?
I haven't thought about it yet. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure,
Um,
we'll figure it out.
okay. And Nature Man, I know your schedule because I know it's late there. I guess we'll have to figure out something as far as the schedule. 'Cause I know it's late there and everything.
That's okay. I'm always up studying, so
Okay,
you know,
okay,
I, I I I get to control my schedule. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I love
Well,
it. Arena's uncensored. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So just thank you for allowing me to be here to share the things that I'm learning, because I do think that this information, even on the smallest level, is so important to every decision that we're making every day. So we just got to keep educating ourselves and sharing that
absolutely,
wealth.
absolutely. All right, y'all. So thank y'all for coming out. I want to thank the chat. We had a lot of people in the chat. Oh man, I want to thank
Nice.
everybody. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like on the way out. Share. Yeah, we gonna keep it rolling. We gonna keep it rolling with Phala. We're gonna keep it rolling with Nature May. Y'all share this video because this is very important. These ladies have graced us with information that I'm sure a lot of people need to get a hold to. So with that being said, thank y'all. Thank you, Nature Made again. Thank you, Phala again.
Thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Good
Thank
night.
you for the community.
All
All of you
right.
guys. Thank you.
All right.
No
We'll,
keto.
you're right. No keto, right. All right. We will see
No keto.
y'all. Right. We'll see y'all next week. Phala, Maid, I'm gonna get in touch with y'all because I want y'all to get y'all back on for another show too. So we got to keep it moving because there's a lot of information that we need to get out there. So like I said, we just scratching the surface. So
Love it.
all right.
Love it. All right, you guys.
All right,
Have a good
y'all.
night.
All right. Peace, y'all.